this money machine. Scalping seconds, slicing fast. Ride the wave, don't let it pass. Green and red, they set the tone. Win or lose, I'm in the zone. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine. Every tick's a heartbeat loud. High stakes play, I'm feeling proud. Risk and thrill, it's all the same. One more trade to up my game. Pivots turn, I'm locked and sure. Cut the losses, keep it pure. Every trend, I see the clues. I'll ride the highs and dodge the blues. Trade the dots, connect the line. Profits calling, it's my time. Precision moves, sharp and clean. Living life on this money machine.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, man, I sound like a frog. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Give me a sound check, vibe check, mic check, check, all check. How are you guys? Everybody doing well? Everybody having a good day? Lots of flow this morning, which is kind of nice. We got a little bit of price action. I'm going to try to describe what's happening. Good morning, Ashton. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, everybody. Sound good, video good. I sound better today. Yes, I do. Thank you, Nathan. I definitely sound a lot better. I think, yesterday I broke the fever. Today I'm feeling a little bit better. Hopefully, we'll heal up this week. I did not do the marathon trading because I was just not in the physical shape to do marathon trading. But I think maybe for next Wednesday, we're going to do like a marathon 6 a.m. to 12 noon, maybe even 2 p.m. marathon trade, like open up like 5-10 accounts, try to run them at various stages to funding just for shits and giggles using dots. Hopefully the markets will cooperate with us. Hey, Denmark. Nice to see you. Denmark, the happiest country in the world, right? Is that what they tell us? Is that true? Is that true, Max Dane? Are you guys the happiest country in the world? Oh, you know what I want to do? Hang tight, guys. I forgot, this is a really cool little feature of StreamYard now that I can put everybody's comments up on the screen, so you guys can see things. Good morning, Dr. G. How are you, man? Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Okay, cool. Highest country, wink, wink. Oh, okay. All right, somewhere in the Rockies. That's for sure. All right, so a couple of things I really want to share. First of all, what do you notice about my my account structure here today? Do you remember the 109 account, which literally was $200 or $300 away from getting stopped out yesterday? And look what happened. Look what happened. I was able, it went from like, I was down to 23, I think I was down to $400 away from stop out, right? Yesterday. And, you know, I'm not, gonna lie. I traded, I didn't even trade large. I traded 2 micros on gold, but I just methodically took every trend-based trade on gold at around 2 micros. And lo and behold, look at this. I'm almost right back to the 25,000 break even. Now I'm going to trade, my small sizes. But look at the power of coming back. And that I am much happier and prouder of this performance, of me avoiding a burnout of the account. Because remember yesterday I was sure I'm going to burn this account. I took 3 really, really bad trades in a row, got a couple of bad bounces. I was like, oh, this account is burnt. There's no hope. And I came back by just simply focusing on the fundamentals. So the reason why that is a much, much more important thing, and why coming back from a loss or coming back, recovering a loss is much, much better than making a win, is because that is a sign, a true sign of a good trading strategy. A good trading strategy isn't one that wins. A truly good trading strategy is it can recover from losses, right? Sort of like the same thing in life, right? The winners in life aren't the ones that win, or the winners in life are the ones that can come back from losses. So I was, really pleasantly surprised at one I stayed disciplined, but it really was the strategy. It was a dot strategy that took me back from the brink of death, back into, possibility of funded profit. So, remember, you guys, you saw this, right? Yesterday, right? I think I was down 1,000, right? And I brought it back up to like where I'm only, $120, $130 away from just the original 25,000. You start building it. In the meantime, all the other accounts are good. They're looking nice and clean, and and we're in good shape. Speaking of which, by the way, let's take a look what's going on over here in the markets, and we'll start looking at ideas. Interesting. So the main piece of news today. Let me see if we have anything else. Let me just make sure. I think we have. What else do I have? ISM today? Let me see what's on the calendar before we. ADP Global Manufacturing. No, it was ADP was the main thing. ADP today is the big thing. Tomorrow is the non-farm payrolls. So ADP came out and they were negative, right? And you would think, oh, this is horrible news. But it's actually not horrible news. It's actually very positive news for the stock market, because if ADP is negative, and Powell sounded a lot more dovish in his commentary. The more I read his commentary in the background, very happy in Denmark. Good. That's great. That's great. I'm glad you got help from Apex. My friends at Apex, be sure to get their accounts. That's the 80% off. If you guys are on Twitter, just simply use the QR code and make sure you use the word BK Save. If you guys are on YouTube right now, I'll put the link in for you so you can use that link to go out there and get the Apex account. So why is ADP being negative a positive thing for the stock market? Because it really puts in play a Fed rate cut. If the Fed cuts 25 basis points, that really eases the cost of credit and obviously lowers the threshold for price earnings ratio. All that stuff is positive equities, positive gold, very positive gold, because gold is obviously a negative yield play. So when you see me actually trading, this is the micro, but I also traded the big one. Let me see, GCQ. I'll show you a couple of trades on the. What happened? What? Hold on. GCQ. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Okay, so what? That's weird. What's going on over here? Am I screwing something up? Huh. Let me see. MGCQ. Micro gold. Wow, is there something wrong with what happened to Apex? Is there something wrong with Apex? Wow, that's weird. Did you guys see that? It's huh. Okay, this is NAS. Why is MGCQ micro gold August 25? Okay, that's fine. Now to do GCQ gold August 25. Okay, that was weird. It's just some kind of a freaky thing. So I want to show you sort of like this is a combination of me trading funda and the dots and a technical structure, right? This is a trade that kind of brought me pretty much to break even on this 109 account. So very, very positive gold in the initial rush of the news, because if there's a strong bet that the Fed lowers rates, that makes gold, which is a non-yielding instrument, even more competitive in the marketplace, more attractive. That's why it looks like a permanent, it looks like a nice clean bid to the upside on gold, right? At least initially as a reaction. So here's the 8:30 reaction, 8:15 reaction. It's 8:15, the ADP numbers come out, right? And remember, there is a process that I follow that's really, really, really important, which is you want all the four factors to go your way. You have the long-term moving average, the short-term moving average. So positive trend, short above down. That's number one. Positive momentum, which means green dots, right? Green dots, one higher than the other one. Number two. And the very, very last thing is a positive slope up on the blue line. The 8-period SMA needs to be bending higher. And I get long over here. Boom, boom, boom. That trades works. I could have done more trades over here. I was just, I went away from the desk. But the point is, if you had traded with the trend in this wave of positive fundamental news, it's very, very easy to collect P&L on the thing. I think actually, I'm sorry, I did take this one, but this was on the MGC. Because I had to step away from the desk. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the small one. I think that was the trade. Yeah, this is the second trade. You see how well that works? And then, of course, as you start to see the slope come down on the blue, it no longer becomes an attractive trade, regardless of the fact that it's positive trend, regardless of the fact that you have positive momentum. Even if you have higher lows, it's as long as the blue isn't curling up, you really don't have a great trade. But when you have all those four things along with the fundamental overlay, it's a layup. It's a layup. It's really, really easy to make that trade, right? And so that is the methodology that we work with every day, all day long. We try to trade the dots in the direction of the trend. And then, yes, we're going to take trades counter trend as well when they formulate themselves. For example, this is effectively a counter trend move, right? Because the blue is below the red, so it's still counter trend move. But in this particular case, you have all three other components. The most important being that the blue is curling up. The greens are showing you momentum. Buying here, even though if this was like stationary for a little bit, 650, right? You managed to survive the consolidation, boom, back up. And then if you bought here, clearly you had a strong move back up to the upside as well. So you can exploit these ideas very, very well, both in trend and counter trend fashion, as long as you follow the very, very precise rules of dot trading. Let me know if that's clear to everybody. Let me know if you guys are understanding exactly what I do, how I'm trading all of this stuff, and why this creates incredible consistency, which is the key to getting your account growing and getting your account funded, irrespective of what happens in the marketplace. So Christopher, you're getting it. Nice, nice. How about everybody else in the room? Who's new in the room here today? Where are my newbies at? Everybody who's new, raise your hand. I'll give you a prize. Oh. GFOS, Bob, everybody's getting it. Now, have you guys, by the way, Bob or GFOS, have you guys put that into play since yesterday? Have you started practicing the idea of watching the blue, the short-term SMA as a confirmation of the direction. And has that helped? I'm really interested in your answers. Like, have you guys started putting that into play? What are these crowns? Crown 1, crown 2. What is this thing? Is this like a new thing in YouTube? I see like people having like the little rankings on the thing. Does that mean that you guys are super active commenters? Is that what's going on? I'm trying to understand like what this little thing is all about. So it's 9:45. Markets was, kind of negative swing. Now it turns itself a little bit to positive swing, clearly trying to position themselves to what I would call as a more accommodative monetary policy. Ironically enough, tomorrow, if non-farm payrolls comes in strong, that could really put a little bit of cold water on the thing. Yeah, Nathan, not sure, but being you like being number one? Yeah, I don't know what that is, right? I got to figure this out. Hey, Cynthia, how are you? Are you new? Cynthia M, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about stuff. Who has? Yeah, Joe says something interesting. He says that the candles get a separation from the line, which is true. It's another aspect of it. But just having that little nuanced is quite good. So, like for example, right now, right? Let's go to we're going to go to the 103. This is a trend. The blue is above the red, so it's kind of a trend set up. $1.21 on the clock. So if this holds, this really creates the classic dots setup for us. So what is the setup? Blue above red, positive dots one above the other. Momentum dots in play, check. Momentum dots one higher than the other, check. Blue sloping upward, check. All these 4 things are checked. All we need to do is make sure this stays at these prices on the close. It doesn't disappear. If the pattern stays at these levels, then we're good. If the pattern kind of goes away, then we know we're not good. And that's the beauty of trading the dots. It keeps you out of weak hands, because the whole idea is if they truly believe in their buying, they're going to close it on the highs. If they don't really believe in their buying, they're going to get beaten down by the shorts. That's the idea. So 17 seconds left. Let's see if we get a play here. Still, lots of hesitation on the flow. We're going to wait until the candle closes. This is one of those candles that can disappear its pattern on the close, as it did. You see that? It kind of dies. The buyers brought it up above the 200 SMA, but now they're kind of getting exhausted and the sellers coming in. So we have to be more patient to see when buying flow comes in. In the purest form, the dots show you the absolute real-time buying and selling flow, much better than support resistance, much better than every ICT bullshit thing on thing, because it tells you exactly what's happening in the moment, which is the only moment that matters in life, right? You're from Texas. All right, Cynthia. Nice. So I think we have not done a poll in a long time. Man, I still sound like a frog. Jesus. It's going to be a couple of days, I guess, before I finally do something. Okay, so I don't want to do a Q&A. I want to do a poll. I want to do a poll. Wait. Let's start a poll. Okay, here's what I want to know. Have you tried scalping? Okay, this is an interesting question for the group. I mean, I know a lot of people in this room have, but this is going to, I think, tell me how many people are new to trading with us, because the very specific and very, very distinct way of trading that we do is this ultra short-term trading called scalping, where we go for very small but very, very high probability trades all day, every day, to grow our account slowly but very consistently towards our targets. This is just one way of trading with us. You can trade another way. I got to tell you something really, really cool, guys. This is coming maybe even as soon as next week. There's a lot of you guys who are from emerging market nations or Asia. Anyways, people who are not in OECD countries, who are basically unable to trade with Apex because KYC rules, whatever. Like this, it's hard for those regions to trade with Apex. So we have another partner called DNA Funding, which it's been a very, very good partner, but I haven't really promoted them because I've been working on something very special. So this very special thing that I've been working on them is that DNA Funding works on a software called Trade Locker, which I'm going to show you, which basically has kind of trading view embedded in it. But here's the cool part. We've been able to uniquely create the BFF dots indicator on the only DNA version of Trade Locker, so that all of you guys who want to trade with me on a CFD basis with all the tools that I trade with, going to be able to do that next week. I'm kind of beta testing the stuff to make sure that it's working, but it's been a really, really cool little project. So the thing is, I'm glad you think it's cool, but the coolest part about it is it's nobody else has BFF on Trade Locker, and I'm gonna have it on there. They specifically coded for me, which was really, really nice. So very excited. I'll let you guys know once we have that ready. I see everybody from Kenya. Yeah, I see a lot of like all of Africa is going to be able to trade the dots with me, which is really cool. And then the other cool thing is I kind of started like just back testing a little bit, because everybody's asking me, hey Boris, does the dots work on like longer term time frames? Is it really good on that? And I was like, I never know. But then I started putting it on the 1 hour chart, and I started just doing basic back testing with just US 30, the classic CFD instruments, US 30, Nasdaq Gold, and it works like bomb. I mean, holy shit! It's a 150. Like when we're trading for a point here, it's good for 200 or 300 points. There's a structure that you can do, not quite the way we do it, and I'll explain it when we do DNA Funding. But if you want to do like one trade per day for $300 points, like it's totally viable with the dot structure the way it's designed. So it's really, really cool. I was kind of shocked at how well it worked on longer term time frames. So all of that is coming for all you guys who are asking for sort of different stuff. But in the game right now, we're trading US index futures, Nasdaq and gold on our favorite futures platform, Wealth Charts, which everybody can see here, which I really, really like. I'll show you exactly how to go up and sign up for it in just 1 second. But the key thing here is that trading this platform right here, we're trading for tight, small, consistent profits. Speaking of which, so here's a kind of a nuanced trade, right? Look at what's going on over here. We have 3 out of 4 positive variables in this particular trade. If, and again, big if I get a green dot here. If I get a green dot here, you kind of have like sort of a very sort of a broken positive pattern, right? Unfortunately, I'm not even going to get a green dot here. There's no point about talking about nuance when no nuance is happening. But if this thing goes green dot, well, let me see. I'm going to take this trade, guys, and I'm going to explain to you why. Okay, hold on. I'm going to take this trade for 5 points because so many things are properly set up here that I'm willing to overlook the fact that there's a red dot against me in between this. There's 2 green dots, but there's a red dot in between them, which usually I never want to see. The sellers kind of came in and broke the buyers. But here's why I think this is a reasonable trade, especially on a small size. It's pro trend, right? Pro trend. Red against blue is above the red. It's positive momentum, and the blue line is sloping upward. There are so many positive price signals here that we're just looking for 732. And if we can get 732, that's a reasonable trade for us to take. So that's the Nasdaq trade, first trade of the day in the trend account. And then here is gold starting to break down a little bit. Gold kind of giving back the ADP rally story. And that's kind of interesting too, because gold effectively now is 44 seconds. If this stays red, it's also a legitimate sell signal. Blue is below red, blue is curling down, negative momentum. We're going to go to the 109 in gold, and we'll try to trade that to the downside if it occurs. Now it looks like my NAS is kind of trading against me. Okay, so be it. If I really wanted to be completely kosher, I would have waited for 2 consecutive green dots, and I jumped the gun. And sometimes you jump the gun, you're going to pay the price. But the point is, I'm paying a very, very small price. I'm going to go short gold here. Okay, short gold here. 45 is my target on gold. So that's in the 109 account. Here's this account. In the meantime, we'll watch the NAS account, see if it builds a little bit of steam or if it just kind of die out. Sometimes the trend is just very weak, and this may have been the weak trend. The signal was the red flag was the fact that there was a red dot already over here that shouldn't have been here. It showed you that the sellers had a little bit more power. So I get stopped out. We will repair this trade on the next sequence. The very, very important piece of information that came out yesterday, the really, really final rule to making sure you give yourself the best chance of winning ever, is that it doesn't matter what your initial, all right, so I've stopped out on Nasdaq. It doesn't matter what your initial trade is that you started with. Your repair trades, that means the next trades in this sequence, absolutely positively have to be trend-based trades. So if I get a trend-based buy signal, that's going to be my repair trade in Nasdaq. If I don't get, if I get a counter trend, I'm just going to ignore all of these signals until and unless it works out. What's going on with my gold? Oh, I think I'm on the. Oh, I got to flatten out. Sorry, guys. I realized something. I think, yeah. Sorry, I was like, how come I'm not done? I had the wrong on the gold here. It should have been 1040. I should have been done on gold. So gold actually worked very nicely on the trend-based business in 109. That's fine. Okay. So gold got done for 11 ticks. It should have been 10 ticks. It actually went all the way down more for us. But that's a good classic gold, trend trade. See, there was no blemishes here. 2 reds, negative move, very, very clean. Now we just got to see what Nasdaq wants to do. Does it have any juice to go higher, or are we just kind of dying out here? If I get a green dot, that's a legitimate uptrend trade. If I don't, I'll just have to stay patient on this trade for a little bit and see how it goes. Yeah, volume is pretty light. You're right. Dr. D, $500 on the dome. Very nice. Who's passing their evals? In the last 2 or 3 days, I want to see, give me your hands up or thumbs up if you passed any evals using BFF as a help. I want to know who has passed any evals for us. That's a legit point, Lee. And so, Lee, the single biggest defense against that particular sin is small size, right? I too, like you, love to overtrade, and your only defense against risk of ruin. Sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Every time I cough, it really hurts my stomach, so I got to just take a breath. Every time if you scalp, your only way to kind of and you love to trade, 10, 20 times a day, you have to trade small because that's the biggest defense against risk of ruin. Oh, good job, Lee. Lee, so here's what happens to Lee. This is what I want to see. Hold on a second, guys. What does Lee get? Lee's going to get super stuff. She's going to get chicken dinner, winner chicken dinner, right? Plus, she's going to get the raining coins, and she's going to get the raining money. Good job. Everybody give Lee a very, very big clap. Good job for Lee. Passed the 50K with Apex. Very nice. Here's my suggestion to you guys. Okay. So, all right, let me stop the little chickens. Sorry, let me go back to. Okay. Good job on Lee. Good job. So the thing that I was, looks like I'm starting maybe to set up I'm looking for a positive move in Nasdaq. So what you see here, again, I'm going to be very, very specific. Even if it hurts me, I'd rather stick to the rules than not stick to the rules. The rules require four things: positive trend, upward sloping blue line, green momentum, and higher lows. But what you see here is we're missing one element. This white dot, its very definition, when I see a white dot, that means it's a lower buy momentum than the prior. Oh, this one just went to green. Okay, so maybe it's no longer. What happened here? How did it go to? No, it's white dot. I know. No, it was just. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. So, in order for me to legitimately create a buy structure in this particular trade, I need another green dot. So we're going to wait patiently and see if I get a second green dot higher. If I get a green dot, not a white dot, but a green dot. White dot means that it's lower than the prior dot, right? You go 5. Just preset myself up. If I get a green dot, we're going to go long. That means the buyers are coming in at least to rally the product. But from here to there, we need some evidence. Good job, everybody. So those of you guys who are interested in learning how all these people in my room are getting funded and trading, I'm just going to put my coaching link in here. And that's really what it's all about. It's not about me making money, because why does that? Shit, sorry, guys. Why is this not? What's going on here? Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm sorry, guys. Tell I'm really sick. I'm forgetting the wrong code. Okay, here's the link. I just put the link in for my coaching session right here. You can just buy the coaching session. All right, let's forget all the sales bullshit. Let's focus on trading. 16 seconds left. Got the green dot. Got the positive momentum. I got my trigger on the buy button. Got to stay here. Will not press the button until and unless this candle completes. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second long. I'm long this. Target is 40.50. 40.50 on this trade. That's my target. Let's see if I can get the 40.50, or if this trade doesn't go. Even if this trade doesn't go, I don't care, because it is a legitimate trade on every angle that I have. That's all we have. We can just rely on our process, or we can be at the mercy of our guesswork. 40.50 is the target on the trade. You can see it right over here in a little blue line on wealth charts. Let's see if we can get a little bit of buying pressure going on over here. Somebody said it's light volume. It definitely is very light volume. Very very tepid momentum moves here. But those are the setups that we have. Let's take a look at what gold is doing. Gold also very, very quiet, not doing much. Not really moving around. Ultimately, what everybody can see here, there's no secret sauce here. This is the bet is on continuity. There's only 2 trades in trading that you can make. There's literally only 2 strategies that exists ever. That's why, all the shit that you guys see with ICT and, Elliott wave and all the other bullshit, those are not strategies. They're just descriptions of price action that depend on just 2 forces, just 2 complete forces. There we go. Right? So trade repaired, back to black, baby, as oh my God, now I forgot. Oh my God, Amy Winehouse used to say. Who remembers Amy Winehouse? Tell me Amy Winehouse was not like the greatest singer of our generation. Such a good singer. But here's my point. I know it looks touch and go, but there's a method to the madness that really, really tries to put every variable in your favor. And I got to actually think. I got to thank Rob Hoffman of the guy who's the founder of Wealth Charts, who is like a world-renowned trader himself, who just took me to the woodshed. When I was trading doing a whole bunch of counter trend setups, because as I was saying to you guys, there's really only 2 setups. There's continuity and there's mean reversion. Continuity means you think things are going to go forward the way they've been going. And mean reversion is what everybody loves to do. They love to sell tops, buy bottoms. I mean, who doesn't like to sell tops, buy bottoms? We all like to think we're the smartest guy in the room. And, he just ripped me a new one saying, you're a fucking idiot. Every trade you make in live on trend almost always works. Every time you do counter trend, you get in trouble. Just focus on trend. And, while I've taken his advice to heart, not 100%, the one thing that I have absolutely, I think, convinced myself is that if I'm going to the repair mode, if I'm going into trading 2nd level or 3rd level trades, I absolutely have to stick to trend processes, and proof is in the pudding. The sequence, and Lee, I'm happy to we discussed this in coaching quite a lot. The sequence of repairs is 1, so it's micro, 5 micros, 2 minis. That's 3 pairs. Presumably, you should never even go to 3rd level if you're doing a good job on trading trend only conditions. And presumably, a repair trade should kick in. Basically, 1 out of 5 trades should be in repair mode. That's kind of like the ideal numbers. But of course, we're human beings. Sometimes the first trade is not always the best. Certainly, if the first trade is a counter trend trade, sometimes it's not the best. So those are idealized statistics. But if I can be anywhere in that range, what that does is it keeps me continuously green. The function of the repair trade is to make a little bit of money, but most importantly, to wipe out the losses so that basically, you know, what's the hardest thing about trading is that you win money and then you draw down and you got to start from the bottom, right? You got to start from the bottom. And what repair does is it keeps you at the same level at which you were at. So you can grow higher. You don't have to build your way. You don't have to dig your way from the well, right? You know, you drop down the well and you got to climb your way below the well just to get to the ground level. It keeps you at the ground level and it lets you climb the wall that way. That's just my approach. There's 100 different ways of trading this, and in coaching we always talk about all different ways. No, it's 1, 5, and then 2 minis. So that would be 20 micros. 1, 5, 20 is the ratio. So I go to minis on the third level, you know, as a trade. Oh shit! Is it? Oh, fuck! I thought it was 10:30. Okay, sorry guys, I gotta run. All right. Anyways, it was a good trade. I showed you all the good stuff. Sorry, I gotta let Kathy know. I forgot I had a call today at 10:15. I thought that the call was at 10:30. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta run today. I'll be on live tomorrow with Kay. It's NFP Friday. We'll stay as long as you guys want to. So let's do it that way. In the meantime, you know, hopefully you saw the process working really well. All green all day long today. More power to you guys. Everybody enjoy. Get the apexes. Get the coaching. I'll show you everything else tomorrow. Everybody enjoy. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.